How aliens can invade humanity in 2 days with the arrival of COVID-19 and artificial intelligence. Welcome to the AI Organization. I'm your host, Cyrus, Parsa. Very special episode. I put out a movie called AI, The Plan to Invade Humanity, about 2 months ago. A few questions were asked, a lot of questions about the inner meanings of that episode. Well, how can aliens invade humanity? Well, in a traditional sense, people thought you can invade everybody with a bunch of spaceships and it's all over. COVID-19 has arrived, or in other words, the CCC virus. So has artificial intelligence, 5G, robotics, bioengineering, cybernetics, facial recognition, voice recognition, digital IDs, and vaccines. All that I warned about in these books: AI Trump China, the weaponization of robotics, 5G, and artificial intelligence danger to humanity, and my reports to the Secret Service and the Foreign Director, CIA Cover-Ups Director, and all these things in sequence, all the tweets I did warning the entire world that all these things are coming. And I found extinction codes for the majority of the human race in stages next 20 years. Now about the alien invasion. I put out a movie called AI, The Plan to Invade Humanity. I recommend everybody watch that. It's a sci-fi film. But people have a concept that aliens just invade with a bunch of spaceships and you're all done. In that movie, I put out a few theories. Some I learned myself, some I got from a very special person. And one concept was that the human body is very, very special. It's the most special in the entire universe. And if you look at a few of my past episodes, I described how I was given classified images of what UFOs look like, not just their spacecraft, what they look like inside. Some look like the Dragos, some look like the Greys, some look holographic, like they're electrical beings, but they're operating these spaceships. Now, in terms of aliens, can they invade us in 2 days? Of course they can, but not in the 2 days that we conceptualize, not in the 2 days that we know here. 2 days for them is 100 years for us, because they use quantum machines to fly from our solar system, our dimension, to another dimension. What they can do is come here, let's say 100 years ago, and pick somebody like Tesla. They can use electromagnetic fields and frequencies to access scientists' brains, or anyone's brain, and input thoughts in their digital layer, just like Elon Musk states. We have a digital layer, and they can connect the 5G network to that via his neural lace, via chips. So consider that. Almost over 100 years have gone by since the early 19th century. And how do you colonize and take over a planet if you want those human bodies? Let's say you can't survive without having those human bodies. Let's say those human bodies are more special than the bodies that you carry, because you have a reptilian type of body, or gray body, Draco, whatever it may be, or maybe a holographic type of body, and you want to survive in our environment. How do you do that in 2 days, which is 100 years here? Well, you implant a certain digital layer, a thought process to change the civilization that you are invading. So, for instance, you come here and you see, wow, these beings they're so special, but they're pretty dumb. They have emotions. They only tap into 3 or 4, 5% of their brain power, and they live their lives that way, and they don't tap into the rest of it. And they have all these energy channels in their body, almost 10,000 or so, and they don't tap into them. And you want those bodies. So how do you invade them? And you see that some of them live 50 years, some live 100 years, and you see that it can live 1,000 years, and you want that body. But if you kill it, the body dies right away, and you can't come inside of it. You see it has a spirit or soul or a digital image. You want to yank it out, but you can't. You can only do it in machines. You have to be able to have that life form merge with machines, geoengineered, and invade its neural networks and its nervous system, and then somehow attach to his digital image and soul and yank it out. Once you do that, you can replicate inside the body, and then you replace that life form. And so how do you do that? You come in, you introduce certain thought patterns, because they have a religion. This race of beings has the concept of God or the creator, but they never see it. And in their history, they don't see it because they're supposed to enlighten, reach awakening themselves. So how is it done? You introduce modern machinery. You introduce all things that consequently lead to a technological advancement based on a certain theoretical framework that doesn't consider God. So by doing that, that digital layer that thinks there is a God or a heavenly place that soul can go, that is separated. So you introduce a certain platform like socialism. You divide the entire humanity from Russia, from China, and you make them atheistic. Once they're atheistic, they can be spiritually controlled. So TVs are introduced. Everybody gets zoomed into a TV, and there are magnetic waves that come into a being, and whatever you see, whatever you hear, is slowly through a long-term process. It programs people. Then they watch all these movies about Star Trek and Star Wars, and then how there's space aliens, but there's humans with them. They're together, and then there's cyborgs, and it gets into the psyche, and everyone wants to meet an alien and all these different things. But for them, it's 2 days. They're in a spaceship. They project this, and they want everything to develop into artificial general or super intelligence, or an AI system that can track everybody. How do they take over? Quite simple. After TVs, then smartphones are introduced. Everyone's addicted to smartphones. They're tracked, geolocations, they facial recognition, the voice recognition. Then their thoughts are controlled because they get used to Google, Facebook, Twitter, social media. Everything starts becoming virtual. Think about it. If you want to invade people, you, through one generation to another generation, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, you introduce video games, the Atari, Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, Sega, then Xbox, and so on. You get people controlled, used to these video games, and they're connecting with another world that they want to reach, a virtual world. And it's in a different time space, so they're still not there yet. So how does it happen? It's quite simple. Through this time structure, you somehow manipulate society to stop procreating, and you manipulate them to even abort their babies, and completely change the concept of traditional culture. Once you do that, you bring society along, stage by stage. The people will get into the media. The people will get into politics. The people will get into the think tanks. The people who get into the institutions, the professors. All of them have a digital structure of empirical science, what they can't see, what they can't believe. And this way, those people can be used to control everybody. And you pick people you manipulate people in such an easy way. Jealous people, competitive people, prideful, anger, lustful, whatever it may be. You put them in position of power, or people who have hatred towards people of faith. You put them in a position of power. As society comes in, then you have the Internet of Things. Google comes in. The people who are on Google, their brain structure, their religion is actually science, because these space aliens, their religion is science. The way they work is empirical way. They need machines. They need smartphones and IoTs. They need spacecraft to fly around. They don't have our human bodies. They don't have the capacity to open up all these channels to supernatural things. But they see that our bodies do, and they want that. They want to merge with machines so they can do these things, because they can somehow reach these realms with artificial intelligent machines. So many different universes, trillions of universes. It's not that one of them does it. Multiple different beings come here and they see this planet. It's so special, but the people are quite stupid compared to their realm of thinking, because they have emotion, and these aliens don't have emotion. And these beings have emotion. They fight each other. They say something, "I love you," and then there's a divorce, and then the entire society becomes like that. They don't hold their word. And this is done. Actually, this was there in the past, 1,000 years ago. When you said something, your word was your word. But now it's changed. You make a business deal, they screw you like that. So, excuse my language, but you invade the culture and mind of everybody. And then when you're in Google, if you think about it, all those people are little colonized scientists. And same with the other big tech companies, Facebook, Twitter, all these CEOs from a different dimension. A quantum digital machine, and especially for people like Elon Musk, is used to access their brain, digital layer, input thoughts. And when that happens, they influence everybody on this digital system, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on media. And they go into media and they show the technology, they get into the military. And some of the people walking around today, they're not human beings. They're in fact beings from other places that have downloaded themselves, and they have killed the host, and they're replicated inside their bodies. Or it's a symbiotic relationship, meaning the person's not all there. It's kind of a symbiotic subconscious. Where did that thought come from? And I don't know how I did that, but I did that. It's taking over, because your soul is inside your body. You just can't see it. And it's connected to your nervous system. And it's very, very vast, this interconnection. So they can manipulate their entire society to go back and forth to get to the end result. What is it? Trump comes in power. They see that it may go back to tradition. They use all this system infrastructure they have on people who don't have faith. And it's like a cat and mouse game, one after another, and they focus on China, because China is a communist Marxist country, and all this tech data goes there so they can prepare their invasion. And how is their invasion done? Quite simple. A virus is deployed, and the virus may not be their plan, by the way. It may be a higher plan, not an alien plan, but coincidentally it's deployed. When that's deployed, then machines come in. Artificial intelligence, danger to humanity. How did I know before everything happened? Okay, how did I know? Robots come in. People become cyborgs. Transhumanism, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. Once this happens, demons that are in different dimensions, they don't have access to possess the people in this dimension, to only manipulate them, can come in through these channels of using machines and connecting to your pineal gland with these little headsets that you wear. And the entire society becomes into a virtual world. They sit at home, they use computers, they use smartphones, and then they get chipped and so on, and these aliens from every perspective invade. How do they do it? DARPA. DARPA creates not only weaponized technology, but they create artificial life by mixing stem cells of animals and humans. By doing that, in people's minds, not only can society change from a traditional family to being confused to their sexual orientation, because they can do that. They can change your neural networks and even intercept a digital image. If you're a male and you're supposed to get a male soul, sometimes a male soul gets a female soul, and then a woman is supposed to get a woman's soul at birth. It doesn't. It gets a male soul. So that's why they feel that they have a different sexual orientation. Others actually have their main soul is what their body shows, but through manipulation and through seeing all these things from Hollywood and different things that was implanted in stages. Like, for instance, the Tesla guy. How did he know 100 years ago that in the future we have smartphones? Because from a different dimension, those beings implanted those thoughts in his head through frequencies. You don't see it. The 4G, 5G, 6G network already exists. It's just they want to connect these machines to it. They've always been there. Humans are antennas. They receive information all the time. They just don't know how to decipher it. Subconsciously they receive it. They kind of have a feeling something happened or something's going to happen, these kind of things. Sometimes they don't. So getting to the stage, Google becomes a search engine. And they also do experiments with DNA and different things. Then your social media, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, all these things combine, connect people emotionally. And then you have the military sector, which has worked on this alien technology, all these spacecrafts that we're working on. And then you have the education, which is on empirical science. It devoids everybody of any free will. Once humans mix with machines or become transhumanists, these beings can download themselves a lot easier. And then clones, when clones are created, those beings download themselves into a clone body. It's very simple. They become smarter and they're not given the soul by a higher level. But what I said in that movie, I recommend everyone watch it, AI, the Plan to Invade Humanity, that the Creator has not a plan. The Creator has not a plan. Do not be afraid. If you don't believe anything I said about this in this show, in this little disclosure, I recommend just thinking as trillions of universes as a possibility of it. Those people who have Christian or have a certain traditional faith, look at your book of Genesis. If it's not aliens, they're demons. It's just semantics, okay? There are other life forms. If God exists, if the Creator exists, trillions of universes, and we exist, why wouldn't something else exist in a different life form? It's just crazy for one that can't. It's the same concept. For those conservatives who think that the left is wrong because they can't see God and they said it doesn't exist or the Creator, well, why wouldn't if something such garbage as a little gray alien? Why would you say that doesn't exist? You can look at it as a demon. It's the same concept. But what they do is social engineer humanity and even change your brain chemistry. So if you look at the left, a lot of them don't mean bad. They don't have an ill intention. Their programming is just different. They have hatred towards conservatives because conservatives had a certain outlook and they maybe a certain faith wanted everybody to be that faith. And they were really hurt by it. And that was also the division plan because this universe is very, very big. And I'm not the one who's going to solve this. I'm just giving information. But I hope everybody likes this video and subscribes. And if you just think about what I said, make that video, AI, the Plan to Invade Humanity, viral. And even this one. Here's the thing. I supported a lot of conservatives and because their program is different. But every time I put out things in different stages, what happened? A conservative censored me or they stole and plagiarized, especially journalists and content creators. This is what they do. Very, very simple. You go to them or they see something and then they know you can get credit and build your platform because it was your findings with all these companies you investigate. They just go look at your synopsis and all these things you've done and all these big names, and then they'll go Google it, and then they'll present themselves, and they'll show you a couple of videos, and everyone will retweet that, and they'll fool you. He's not the only person. Thousands of conservatives did this to me. So I'm here, I'm saying, whoa, the left is doing this, and Google, YouTube, and all these technicians behind them, they're being colonized like ants. It's not really their fault. But at the same time, conservatives on the end, every time they're in a position of power, and it's not just... so many one leading back for the 10 months. I present information in different ways. I come in first, I give to the Secret Service. Here's things they can understand. Okay, yeah, China, biological weapons, and physical thing coming in. Microbial terrorism, and it's within 1 or 2 years, the whole world's going to be enslaved. So talk to me. I'll tell President Trump myself what it really is. About here's this much. Talk to me. They don't talk. They think I'm nuts. I was right on point. Then I go with the former director of CIA cover ops. His brain works differently. So I gave him a 62-page report. Company, name, CO. This is where they are. Here's what they've bought. This is what they're creating. And here's a narrative and their capability and their reach. And here's a threat and here's my analysis. And he looks at it, all these companies. Wow, this is great. Cyrus, this is genius. It's going to mobilize the military. Oh, boom, boom. So... But I realize he can't stop what's coming. So then I go with this. It's a combination of things. Even in the subtitle, it shows you COVID. It shows you what happens. AI, Trump, China, and weaponization robotics, 5G. And it's very simple. Trump's head is on the Constitution, which is George Washington's body. And in the subtitle, actually, it explains how China and Western AI and robotics corporations pose the greatest threat to people through digital social programming. I mean, social engineering, very sophisticated with your body and mind. And then via the human biodigital network. So the threat of the virus and the COVID and all these different things come in to the human biodigital network. And then after that happens, then you get cybernetically changed. Or as I say, enhanced. Transhumanism, robotics come into you. Your DNA gets changed. On a communistic platform, Marxism, because there's no belief, then your soul gets yanked out or replaced, and everybody gets colonized and they die. So I can only say stuff in stages because the human brain can only take so much. If I say something a little bit above that's unbelievable, then people can generally accept it. This is 2020, so I'm going to say in stages I've said different things. So I publish Artificial Intelligence, Data for Humanity, because other conservatives were stealing my stuff and mobilizing think tanks. And I give a concrete way. Huawei, 5G system. Okay, it's the grid system. It connects machines, robots, quantum technology. They service 1,500 networks, 3 billion people. Oh yeah, it's data I can take. Make V+++. Here's the robots they're working on. Interesting. Then the middle goes to analysis, and it's very, very like deep things. I mean, very, very deep. People said you need 1 million IQ to figure it out. I don't think it's the case. I just think it's a zip file. I just need to expand on it. So that's artificial intelligence and humanity. Then what do I do? It's all COVID's coming. Everyone's going to be enslaved in stages, and everyone's lives are being threatened. So what do I do? Then I form that lawsuit to get everyone's attention. But the average person uses 3 to 5% of brain power, and because they have emotion or jealousy or pride or anger, or just there's a part in their brain that's completely blocked. So they don't believe. So I put out this massive lawsuit. Everyone's just, their minds are blown. But nobody supports. and say your lives are in danger and all these different things. Everyone's being programmed on the Google network, and I didn't say it comes from aliens or it's not from human beings, but just think about it. So, or you can say it's demons, whatever it is. And then I tweet that movie, AI that applied to invade humanity, to President Trump, to the Pentagon. And what happens? They've released their UFO files for the first time in history. Within 3 days of doing that. So they thought I'm saying you're being invaded right now, although there's a lot of spaceships flying around. But it's not what I was saying. Once you expose certain things, they do move out of the way. That did happen. But here's the thing. The first thing is ethics. People's ethics have changed. The humans, what they were in the 1930s and 40s, they were different from today. Very, very different. And it's these aliens that did it. It's these demons that did it because they want the human bodies. But you say, why didn't God step in? The universe is so huge. Trillions of universe. And there's different time and spaces. But also, this civilization, we're put here for enlightenment and awakening. And there's so much I could say. I don't want to get too deep because then it's already gotten too deep. Very, very deep. But I'd like more support because it's not over yet. I'd like everyone to go get this book, Artificial Intelligence, Danger to Humanity, to retweet this video and subscribe to this channel and get this video viral, especially the movie AI, The Plan to Invade Humanity, because this really is an AI invasion, but it can be turned around. We don't have to, we can use artificial intelligence in a narrow way, but I can consult at so many levels and I can talk at so many levels. I can sit down and talk to someone who has a narrow way of looking at scientists that doesn't believe in anything. They just look at things what they can see. They look at what machines can show them with a smartphone. They see in a smartphone, and this is how their brain works. Very, very simple. 10 of their scientists or peers will do the same research and they'll write up the same stuff or similar things, and they'll cite that. And then you'll read that in an article and you believe, yeah, it's true. It could be completely fake or partially true, completely true. But that's how science is. And then someone like me may not even put any empirical evidence in an article in what I say, but it's 100% right. But they won't believe it. Even if I had 10 pieces of evidence, their brain, there's a digital layer for faith, it's completely blocked off. People like Bill Gates, he doesn't mean to hurt people per se in his real true self. He thinks he's doing good, but his digital layer for faith is completely blocked off. Elon Musk, he believes in simulation, and his is open to certain degrees, but it's not him that is inside his body. It's other things that are inside his body controlling him. Think about that. It's not just him. A lot of people. There are a lot of... I'm not saying he is an alien, okay? I'm saying when you look at every human on the planet, they're not who they seem to be. There are things that can come down into your body via frequencies, and this is so difficult to accept. But our human body is made out of molecules, and it's not what you think. It's not just that you can prod something, it'll enter it with the bloodstream. We have inputs and outputs. So a thought can enter us. A thought is a material substance. It can control someone's perception. Just like if you have a thought about a sexual action, then maybe your sexual organs may be aroused. That means what you saw aroused your physical body. That means it entered you. There is an input-output structure. So what you see and hear enters you and replicates inside of you. That's why you can start sharing with kids and then you'll tell them, hey, we'll show you, we'll give them sex education. And later on, little kids can be turned into all kinds of stuff, even do pedophilia and be okay. Because this is the alien agenda. They want to destroy humanity, make them like animals. They want the culture and the ethics of humanity to be animals, so they won't be protected by our higher realms. This was their goal, but they're not going to win. The end result, they will lose. Exposing this is a very big thing. So, as I said, I talk in different levels. To a level that an average person can accept, then maybe a religious person can accept, then maybe a scientist, a simulation. It's very hard to say things that everybody can accept, and I don't know if I did that in this little exposure. But consider what I said. Some being in a quantum machine or a spaceship can use quantum technology from a different dimension, go and come back in 2 days, and 100 years will have gone by here, and civilization would have been altered. Look at Discovery Channel. Those people are showing, promoting things like, oh, aliens are our gods or whatever. No. They've been programmed to say that. It's not the case. They've been invading us since the first day. They wanted these human bodies because it's made in the creator's image. It's very powerful. You don't tap into it because of emotion and all these vices. If you return to virtue, then great things can happen. At the narrow level, getting back to Earth. So my solution for everything right now, we need to engage the left and the right, but expose the Chinese Communist Party at a narrow level, because there's a dark force behind them. I explained in that video, that movie, AI, the Plan to Invade Humanity. It's a sci-fi movie, but that dark force creates them to manipulate them to create a war possibility, all different things, to create artificial superintelligence that can endanger everybody. Think about it. Trillions of universes and trillions of planets. This planet, just one. It's a very important one. Expose the Chinese Communist Party for their crimes against not just the Christians, not just the Falun Dafa practitioners, not just against the Tibetans and Uyghurs, but the common citizens. And if you have a faith, repent. If you don't, say I'm sorry or complicit. If your next door neighbor is being murdered, butchered, killed for the organs, you're going to do business with them or not. So why would you do business with China? Why would anybody consider doing business with China, or people who come out of China who are linked with them? Think about it, and give them technology to build. So expose the Chinese Communist Party and truly down inside. Everyone needs to apologize for looking the other way for the past 20 years. Millions have died. The third thing is even more important. Have a wish to be awakened, to be enlightened, to be if you believe in salvation, to receive salvation, but to be awakened, to be enlightened, to have a great future, a great awakening. The great awakening that these people are talking about is not about arrests or sitting back and enjoying the show and drinking beer. It's not what the future is going to be, okay? There's something huge coming for the entire planet. And we are made in the image of a creator. Our path, our goal is something very, very, very broader, and it has to deal with awakening or enlightenment. And some big disclosures will happen in the future. So in the meantime, it's very, very important. Those people who are interested in aliens, and this was a show about UFOs, or an episode, expose the Chinese Communist Party, because that's what the aliens use the most. They use people with socialist, Marxist brain structures or scientific brain structures because they're the easiest to manipulate and easiest to prey on. All these people on the left and the big tech companies are all victims. They've been preyed on, and they don't. You see the thing? They're actually a digital layer inside their brain that automatically rejects what I just said. It's literally the neural networks are made that way because there's structure in the brain to connect to a certain area which actually connects to higher powers, like the creator and so on. That's shut off. And then you don't believe. And there's other structure in the brain that connects to technology or different things. That's kind of enhanced in different ways. That's why all these little scientists doing coding work and programming work, they're all a piece of a colonized puzzle. They're all being enslaved and they don't know it. They're all being used for this master plan. It is an AI invasion master plan. That's all it is. So one day they go. One day they come back. 100 years have gone by. And they're being exposed. And they've been dealt with, most of them. So, how do I experience a lot of these? Some of the things I read. Other things I experienced. So, I will give you guys a quick example. I went to China in the year 2000. I trained 18 hours a day, 7 days a week with Wudang monks. And there was a master who, in secret, would take me to the forests and mountains and train. And within 2 weeks, I think, he told me that I would surpass his training in 50 years, and he was the professional bodyguard to Mao Zedong, and he could do light foot, he can run on water, he can jump over big buildings, well, maybe 20 feet, and then he could levitate 3 feet, and he could move people without touching them. So I think within a few weeks, my laguna point opened up, and it was like, it popped, and I felt heat come out. I could move things from a distance. I could feel things. I could, so many things. And even my channels opened up to here, and I could sense frequencies. I could do what Elon Musk wants to do with his 5G system. And I could even scan millions of people with their thoughts and feel what the structure of geopolitics is, what's going to happen. That's why in 2002, I wrote that book, and I said, if we go to Iraq, this is going to happen. In 20 years, China's going to replace everybody. But these are things that people can't accept. So they never said much. And now it's 2020. What the? I don't want to use the bad word, but maybe it's time. So what one can do when all these channels open up, it connects to the pineal gland, and then you can connect to these frequencies, which I could see since a little kid. Once you do that, literally you can synthesize trillions of thoughts or billions of thoughts in seconds. And it's not my brain that's achieved that. It's when you open up these channels. So if you look at my brain right now, you can see it could do that. It's only when you open up these channels, when it connects, then it kicks the brain. It kicks it. It turns it on. So you can tap into the majority of your brain power, and you could do what 7 billion people at one time couldn't do. Because that's why Google DeepMind wants to tap in quick quantum digital AI brain and a super intelligence. But it's not Google that's doing it. It's these damn aliens. They're colonizing everybody, and they've embedded themselves in the thought frame of the people within the CIA, within the FBI, within DARPA for the past 60 years, so they can train these guys for their entire master plan. And it's almost at its present. And the master plan was to bring themselves here and control everybody with an AI overlord, AI digital brain, and one shot take everybody out. If it's not a robot taking you out, it's a drone. If it's not a drone, it's your DNA being changed. Not that, it's you mixing with machines. If it's not that, it's your neural networks being replaced. If it's not that, it's an AI life form that Vermont University created that was given in DARPA. If it's not that, it's some other nanoparticle comes in you. You see, it is an invasion. It's always been an invasion. They got everything covered from every perspective. They ruined society with Hollywood, separating the concept of family. It's like you divide a race, you divide humanity by separating families, the concept, the structure they had. And then you put them all in a hive mind. And that's what's happened. Society is penetrated. It's being raped from every single direction. Think about it. This is Cyrus A. Parsa with the AI organization. Follow me on Twitter and retweet. Follow me on Instagram, Cyrus A. Parsa 1 at AI organization, and Parler. Same thing, Cyrus A. Parsa 1. And donate to the AI organization's website directly. And I think a few people actually donated last time. Thank you. It was much needed. Get this book. You can get it on paperback as well on Amazon. I talk about aliens in here the entire time, but it's coded. I use so many terms because this was people that had a really, really high level thought that can extract it. But at the beginning, I mentioned aliens at the first page, but in a different way. But the entire time, aliens are coded within the geopolitics. It's such a vast book. I mean, you would need a quantum machine to figure this book out. But so many realms. And a lot of conservatives are just, what they've been doing is taking my stuff and fooling you. And the past 6 months, or my lawsuit, and just creating content. But there is a law in the universe, okay? And what does this law do? You can't see this law. But when you steal other people's stuff, you're losing something very, very special. At the end, you get punished. And I interjected things at every stage. whether it was the Secret Service mobilized them, the CIA former director, then the books, then the press releases that trying to get the senators, they got all put away, and then the lawsuit, and then the videos I made. Everything penetrated everywhere. I saturated the entire internet, and every direction I moved was always a liberal laughing or a conservative in power stealing and moving in the shadows and making sure other people don't pick me up. They even make comments like, "Oh, we deal with facts. We don't do these things." But at the same time, behind the scenes, they're making these videos or doing these articles. Think about it. They are manipulated too, so I don't get these information out in stages. And I did. It did affect big things in stages, but not enough. And those people who can accept this this episode, this was a very deep episode. And it could have been a lot deeper, but I can't say that much. All I can say is I could detect a lot of things, and with the practices that I did, even if I sit in meditation, I can literally, if a spider walked across the room, I could sense it. I could zoom in on it. I can literally feel and sense its little legs walking. So it's not just me. Other people can do similar things. Or if I look at a hawk, I can see its feathers, or if I feel its feathers, and I can literally feel the vibrations. So these are martial arts skills, not really that important. But the human brain is very powerful. Every human being on the planet is very special. All you guys are special. And that's why these aliens or these demons, how I want to look at it, they wanted to invade the human body and human world. But their plan will not succeed in the end run. In the meantime, like I said, expose the Transhumanist Party. Because what you can't see can only be done when you can see it, but you can do other things that affect what you can't see, because you're not in the virtual augmented mixed reality world at the moment. You're not in different dimensions. You only see this body. You don't see what you do here has an effect in different dimensions. So that's why we need to do things in this dimension, and it'll lead to different things. You look at the past 100 years, you see, cars were developed and planes, and no one ever believed in the smartphones. Later on, you'll see different dimensions will open up. You'll see, so many different things, virtual, augmented, mixed reality. Then you'll see, wow, all this stuff exists. So for now, one can only have faith. I don't have much more to say. Again, Cyrus Parsa, the AI organization. Hit the notification button, subscribe, like, share this video, please make it viral, and you can look at it as a sci-fi summary brief of the movie I made, AI, The Plan to Invade Humanity. Thank you.